we're sick and tired of this feeling. I'm tired of coming into the team meeting on Sunday, and I told them that before the game. I'm tired of coming into the team meeting on Sunday talking about how close we are, talking about we didn't finish, and they're tired of hearing me say it. They're tired of feeling that way, and we're gonna go right back to work and try and fix the things that we can to get better so we can finish. And as competitors, that's what we're trying to do. Is just we get another opportunity to go compete in 2 weeks, and that's what we're going to do.
Welcome onto the sideline, everybody. Matt Dowell joining you after South Carolina's loss to Ole Miss. And I'm joined by Elijah Campbell of 107.5 The Game here in Columbia because Jared's back home in Miami. Claire covers Clemson for us on Saturdays. So I had to call in some recruits, and I was like, who better than Elijah? Because Elijah, this is your third time on our podcast, and I think you are the veteran, like non-Watch Fox member on our podcast, and your episodes have gotten such good reactions. I was like, well, I got to hit up Elijah and see if he'll come on the pod. So thanks for joining me, man, and being back with us tonight.
Oh, I appreciate the invite as always, man. The last time I was on with you guys, the Toronto Raptors subreddit picked it up because we were talking about Colin Murray Boyles, and some Redditor called me the Hawaiian Bill Hader. So who knows what I get called this time? But yeah, it's yielded some pretty good results. I have a blast with you guys every single time.
Yeah, if you guys are new to our podcast in the past couple of months, we've had 2 episodes with Elijah. One was about his journey in radio and getting to 107.5 The Game. The other was about Colin Murray Boyles and the Raptors. And I don't know, Elijah, if you want to move to the Toronto market because those guys loved you and they loved everything that you had to say about the Raptors. But he had so many good insights on Colin Murray Boyles, who now is a starter, with the Raptors. This was back when he got drafted. But anyway, Elijah, let's get into what this episode is about, and that is South Carolina football falling to Ole Miss 30-14 over in Oxford. We should say, too, we are watching the World Series while we're filming this. They're in the top of the 10th, so if you hear some screams or some awkward pauses, that is us reacting to the World Series as it goes on. But let's talk Gamecock football, Elijah. And for me, I feel like a broken record. I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over because I feel like when I watch South Carolina, it's the same thing happening. Is that how you feel after tonight?
Yeah, I think my big summary of the game tonight, Matt, is it kind of goes back to a saying that a lot of coaches have, that it's that great teams find ways to win games. Well, I believe the inverse is true. And that's bad teams find ways to lose games. Like, look through the course of these 6 losses this season. You can point to something different each and every time. LSU, it's the penalties. Missouri and Vanderbilt, you couldn't tackle anybody. Alabama, you couldn't hold on to a lead late. There's so many different things that have plagued this team. And tonight, it was kind of like all those issues that I just laid out, all balled up into one, right? You couldn't take advantage of anything on offense. You did hit an explosive play, but the only other touchdown drive you had was a special teams mishap from Ole Miss. You couldn't continue to sustain drives. The offensive line looked fine at times in pass protection, looked terrible at times in others because they did give up a sack when Ole Miss was rushing 2 and you had 5 offensive linemen. That's hard to do, right? South Carolina found a way to do it. Your defense played a pretty solid game. I mean, Ole Miss is one of those teams where you can give up 30 points but still play good defense doing it because they're that good offensively. But you just couldn't take advantage of anything that you were given throughout the course of the game, right? You played well enough in the first half to be in it, but you kept missing opportunities. And when your best player, Lenore Sellers, is missing throws that you've got to hit, when you're missing layups in games like in basketball, right? You miss a bunch of layups, you shouldn't expect to win the game. And tonight, they missed so many layups in the passing game that's kind of the big thing that I attribute right now to them losing that, and Ole Miss gashed them on the ground late in the game. The defense played well for the most part, but Ole Miss got everything they wanted on the ground, and that just ultimately made a huge difference in this game.
Yeah, I will say I do think the defense has done about as well as they can the past month or so. It's just that they do not have an offensive counterpart. And what's astounding to me, Elijah, is that South Carolina has still been in so many of these games with this offense. I know Ole Miss went away with it in the fourth quarter, but it was a pretty close game, which is kind of astounding when you look at how much they're struggling. And I know so much has been made about Mike Shula and the play calling, but today, I don't, some of the play calling was not great, but I actually don't put all of this loss on that. I thought Lenoris was bad tonight. I thought this was his worst game of the season. And I thought the opportunities and the plays were there. They just didn't execute it.
Yeah, certainly. A lot of this was poor execution. Even on the fourth down play, because in our YouTube watch along, we had Shane Fiddler on, who is a former coach at Airport.
Yeah.
Is now the AD at White Knoll. He's kind of breaking down things schematically. And we're talking about that fourth down conversion that they failed to get early in the game where they pitch it out to Matt Fuller. And he said, well, I don't hate the play call because you had the numbers, right? If you execute that peel back block, then you seal the edge and you should have the numbers on the outside to get it. But 3 or 4 guys miss blocks. And when 3 or 4 guys miss blocks, the play is going to get blown up no matter how well you schemed it up. And as much as there's been some rightful anger over the play calling this year, I don't think that's applicable tonight. I think they ran the plays that they thought were going to be the most successful, the things that they do well. There's a ton of play action, which I love. I thought that's one of the things that this offense has actually done pretty well for good stretches this year, is get teams to kind of bite on your play action, even if you're not running the ball particularly well. But the big thing for me tonight was there's a huge lack of execution. The blocking and the ground game wasn't good enough. All of it wasn't good enough. And you're already kind of behind the 8 ball because you need number 16 to be spectacular to win games. He could be good and you still don't win games. You can't have him be bad and expect to win games. And in the passing game, outside of that pass to Harbor, he was bad.
Yeah.
And you just can't expect to win games when someone that you rely so heavy on has it off night. And that's kind of where this team's at right now. That's one of the big reasons why they're 3-6. Is he's played well in some games and you still haven't been able to win those. So when he doesn't play well, it kind of turns into a non-negotiable across the board.
Well, now South Carolina goes into their bye week, and after this game tonight in Oxford, Shane Beamer was asked about what changes, if any, he'll make during this bye week. And also, now Elijah, they're 3-6. They have to win out if they want to go to a bowl game, the bare minimum of the season. And Shane Beamer addressed all of that in his press conference afterwards.
We need to find a way to win. I mean, there's a bunch of competitors in that room, and I know you wrote yesterday that do bowl games matter? Yeah, bowl games matter, and we're trying to get to a bowl game, and the only way you can do that is finding a way to win a football game, and we got a lot of work to do. We're not where we want to be. We got a bye week to continue to try and get better and fix some of these issues, Jordan, and go to College Station, and we're not thinking about what's beyond College Station. It's this week getting better and then figuring out a way to go out there and compete. These guys will respond. I don't have to dangle anything. I don't have to go in there and give some, Newt Rockney win for the Gipper speech to try and get these guys motivated to play. Like they'll compete. That's what they do. They compete and we've got to get better so we can. We're sick and tired of this feeling. I'm tired of coming into the team meeting on Sunday, and I told them that before the game. I'm tired of coming into the team meeting on Sunday talking about how close we are, talking about we didn't finish, and they're tired of hearing me say it. They're tired of feeling that way, and we're going to go right back to work and try and fix the things that we can to get better so we can finish. And as competitors, that's what we're trying to do. Is just we get another opportunity to go compete in 2 weeks, and that's what we're going to do.
So, Elijah, let's talk about those two scenarios. First, do you think Shane makes any changes in this bye week? And second, does South Carolina make a bowl game?
I will go no on both accounts. I don't think he makes any changes just because I feel like they're so process oriented. I think he's pretty married to the idea of Mike Shula at offensive coordinator. I don't know if that really changes anything in terms of coaching staff. I mean, he might make some tweaks to preparation. I don't know if there are any staff changes. Shane's not one to make a ton of staff changes, which is why I was kind of surprised that he let go of Lonnie Teasley after the LSU game, right? The offensive line coach at South Carolina. So I think just based off his MO, it's not going to happen. But I'd make it maybe like a 60-40 thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I just don't think it will. And I don't think this team's winning at Texas A&M. Look, as good as Ole Miss is, and I give Ole Miss a lot of credit, like they're top 10 for a reason. Trinidad Chambliss is one of the best stories in college football.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss is really good. I think that's a college football playoff team. As good as they are, A&M is better. And if A&M and Ole Miss are playing, let's just say they're playing in Arrowhead Stadium, random neutral site game. I'd make A&M a 5.5-point favorite in that
Really?
game. I think A&M is legitimately one of the three best teams in college football. The three best teams I've seen all year have been Ohio State, Indiana, A&M in that order.
Okay.
They're best on both lines of scrimmage. That's an offensive line that doesn't give up pressures. That's an offensive line that's one of the best run blocking teams in the country. And we saw what a really good run blocking unit in Ole Miss did to South Carolina tonight. I think that's applicable for the next game. Marcel Reed's a really good quarterback. He is no stranger of torching teams down the field and throwing across the middle of the field. I think he'll be able to complete all the passes he wants to be able to win that game. And defensively, you have an offensive line that struggled to keep guys out of your backfield, and Cassius Howell is maybe the most productive edge rusher in the country. I don't know if he's the best, but he's certainly the most productive. I mean, he's had multiple 3-sack games this season. Cassius Howell is a force to be reckoned with. They've got one of the best linebacking groups in the country. Will Lee, maybe the best lockdown corner in the country. A&M is national championship level good. If you couldn't take advantage of tonight in Oxford, you play a better team in a tougher environment. I don't see a pathway to winning that game. And obviously they lose that game. That puts them at 3-7. So no matter what you do in the last two games, you're not going to a bowl game.
Yeah.
All of that to say, this makes it for one of the most disappointing seasons in the history of this program, because you had the talent and the skill level and the quarterback and the edge rusher and the momentum from a 9-win season last year to do things you've never done in this program, and you wasted a season. And ultimately, that's kind of going to be the theme when we get done talking on November 15th.
I agree. Even if they go 6-6, I don't know if that excites anybody, in this fan base. So I don't. And when you look at the rivalry game, I mean, it might be the most apathetic Palmetto Bowl in in history. I don't know. Yeah, both teams might go into that game with losing records, which is crazy to say considering they both started the season in the top 15. But it's been a brutal brutal season of football in the state of South Carolina. And you got Coastal, who's been heating up. You can't count them out either. It's been a tough season for South Carolina. But I agree with you. I mean, I don't think Shane's going to make a change with Shula. I think he would have done it by now if he was going to do it. I don't see the point, honestly, at this stage in the season. And then when it comes to a bowl game, I don't see them making that. And even if they do, it's not going to be a good bowl game. So I don't really know if that excites anyone. I understand it's an accomplishment, but ultimately I think this season is going to be a disappointment regardless, just like you said. Elijah, anything else you want to say as we wrap up today and we go into this bye week with Gamecock football?
Got to find a way to finish, man.
Yeah.
You go into the fourth quarter with a chance. You went to the fourth quarter with a chance to get this back in this game, maybe take the lead. It's happened a lot. Matt Dowell, you want to guess? Take a guess. And unless you don't know this. If you know this, then plus points for getting the trivia question. How many times in the 9 games this year has South Carolina won the fourth quarter?
I'm gonna say 0. I mean, are we talking about games that they're losing going into the fourth quarter?
Just straight up. If we only counted the fourth quarter and the points scored in the fourth quarter, how many games do they have won?
Tell me.
2.
2.
Virginia Tech, Kentucky. The only time you outscored your opponent in the fourth quarter. Not going to get it done. I understand there's 3 quarters that lead to that fourth quarter, but this team has shown no ability to be able to close a game out and be able to take advantage of what mistakes the other team makes.
Yeah.
LSU, it was penalties, or it was turnovers, right? LSU committed 3 turnovers in that game. Couldn't take advantage. Oklahoma committed a ton of penalties on defense that allowed you to get deep in Oklahoma territory against one of the best defenses in the country. Couldn't finish. Tonight, Trinidad Chambliss did miss some layups in the passing game. He missed a few layups, right? Ole Miss didn't play particularly well offensively in that first half. Couldn't take advantage of it. Couldn't finish when it's a 1-score game going into the fourth quarter. That's the big thing to this team this year is they found different ways to not finish, and that just leads me back to what I started this with. Really good teams, great teams find ways to win. Really bad teams find ways to lose. And unfortunately, the reality is if you want to use that kind of parable or whatever that saying as a metric to what this team is, it's a bad football team. And unfortunately, that's where this team's at right now, 3-6.
When people show you who they are, you believe them. And South Carolina has shown us who they are 9 games in, and that's who they are. It is a disappointment. It also comes down to discipline. It does come down to coaching. It comes down to all of those things. But South Carolina enters the bye week, and then they'll go to Texas A&M and then close out the season at home against Coastal Carolina and Clemson. Elijah, I want to thank you so much for coming on our podcast once again. I at this point, I'm just going to assume you're going to be back many times, so I'm not going to say hope you come back. I think you're going to be back at this point.
Yeah, anytime.
That's Elijah Campbell of 107.5 The Game. You can listen to him every day while you're driving to and from work. That's what I do. I love those guys over there at 107.5. I'm an avid listener, so you guys should be too. But he's Elijah Campbell. I'm Matt Dowell. As always, make sure you guys like and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you guys listen to our podcast. He's Elijah. I'm Matt. We will have another episode after the Gamecock women's basketball season opener on Monday night. That will come out on Tuesday morning as Don Staley and the Gamecocks are getting set for another season. Thanks, Elijah, for joining us, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Awesome. Appreciate the invite, Matt. Like I said, anytime, brother. It's always a blast.
Thanks, Elijah. We will see you guys next time here on South Carolina Sideline.